Hello again and welcome to Shed Talk, my weekly magazine video series looking at the keeping, breeding and showing of cage birds, with a special focus on the exhibition style Budgerigar. Well, before we get into this, or the main part of this particular episode, which is a look at the shed in February, I've just been doing the soft food mix, and while I was doing that, I had a little bit of an idea, I suppose, if you can call it that. I've often wondered what to do with the leftover bits of millet that you get. You know, you get this left in the bottom of the box, and you get a box of millet. Take the millet sprays out, and you always get this, I suppose, the dregs of the millet in the bottom of the box. And I've often wondered what to do with this. So sometimes I just chuck it in the bottom of the main flight. Other times I'll mix it in with the main seed. What I thought this time, I'll give it a go. I'm going to drop this into the soft food mix and see if they can pick through it as part of that overall process. Let me know, what do you do with the bits of, you know, if you have millet sprays and you always get the little bits left in the bottom, the bits that come off, what do you do with them? Do you just, you know, do you chuck them in a flight? Just let me know. Let me know in the comments what you do with the millets, leftover millet sprays. Anyway, I better get on with finishing off the soft food. Whilst I'm doing that, if you do enjoy the videos, don't forget to like, do subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to comment on what you do with the millet sprays. But I'll finish this off and then we'll get into talking about my shed in February. Well, that is the soft food all finished with, and I've split it into containers and frozen probably 2/3 of it, and the rest of it will be used over the next couple of days. So as I say, we're into February now, so I thought I'd have a quick talk about what I've got planned, what my plans are both in and outside the sheds for February. And of course I'll start with the outside of the immediate sheds, and that is in terms of the show season. The show season for me starts in February. I know it only feels like we've only just finished the one in November, but yeah, we're back to it already. And it always starts for me with the Oxford 1910 Cage Bird Society stock show, which is a small little show. It is an all-day show, so you know, probably just over 150 birds, something like that, should be there, touch wood. And being the show secretary of that particular event, it's, you know, the work's already started for me. Schedules have gone out and all that sort of stuff. And I will look to get a few of the birds out of the main flight, some of the ones that are not yet going to go into the breeding cages. I'll probably put about 4 or 5 budgies out, and I'll probably take 2 of the 5s with me as well down to that show, just to kick us off with a nice early start to the show season. I know for the some of the canary people, and certainly the British people, this is almost coming towards the end of their season, and some of their birds will be in better condition around now. So but for us, you know, for me, the Budgerigar breeders, really this is very, very early. Most of our stock is going to be in the breeding cage. Anyway, so that's really the main focus outside of the shed, is that particular show, and I will bring you some highlights from that show towards the end of November. The show's actually, I think it's on 17th, something like that, so it'll be in one of the episodes towards the end of November. As I say, a few Budgerigars and a couple of 5s, and while we're talking about the 5s, what have I got planned for February out in the Finch and 5 flight? As I'm sure you can tell, we're not actually out in the Finch and 5 flight. I thought I'd talk about them in here. First thing I'd say is there is a little bit of repair work going on out there, because for those of you in the UK will know that just recently we've had two, for the UK, fairly large storms hit us, causing quite a bit of damage. There wasn't any major damage done to the outside shed, just some damage done to, or a little bit of damage done around some of the windows that I need to get out and repair. I've done some minor repair work to it, but I need to get out there and do a full repair job on that. It's not upset the birds at all. They're still they're still all fine out there. And really in February what I plan to do is I'm still continuing to gradually increase the lighting. The Finch are still on a fairly limited diet, so they're getting just a normal canary seed as the main bulk of the diet, and they're also, every couple of days they'll get a small bit of soft food, just to encourage them, or just to keep them in a bit better condition. It's not been particularly cold, even though we've had those two storms. There was a couple of days where it dropped well below freezing, or below freezing, but more recently it started to warm up again. All of the cockbirds in the main flight are in full voice. The ones in the breeding cages, or in the individual cages, the ones that I'm intending to breed with, aren't yet in full voice, so still waiting for those to start singing. So the real main focus is looking at the pairs and just making sure I've got them right. As you can probably see, I've put some pictures up of my planned two pairs. So really it's looking at those, making sure I'm still happy with that. As I say, there will be a couple of, I might take the my two birds, which are the less variegated two birds in the pictures, take those two along. There's a cock and a hen, a buff and a yellow. Take those two along to the Oxford 1910 show, but after that really it's about building them up. The only thing I'm thinking is that, and again, if you look at my individual cages, I'm conscious that I've got 4 perches in there, and I'm wondering, having watched a couple of the canary channel, or the canary YouTube channels, that they seem to only have 2 perches in to encourage the bird to fly about a bit more. And I'm just wondering whether I ought to take 2 of the perches out and just give them 2 perches, so when the birds are exercising, they're not just hopping from one perch to get from one side of the cage to the other, but having to actually fly that distance. Don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, those of you that keep canaries, whether I ought to remove 2 of the perches. Anyway, so that's really what we've got going on out there in the Finch and Fife flight. Like I say, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the lighting now is currently on, as we stand at the beginning of February, comes on at about 7:15 and goes off at about 4:30, 4:45 time. By the end of February, I'm expecting that to be from sort of 6:30 through till around about 5:30. So we will continue, as I say, we will be continuing to increase the levels of lighting out there in the Finch and Fife flight. So what about in here then, in the Budgerigar, the main Budgerigar shed? Sorry, I've just two of them have just distracted me. Anyway, so let's talk about what we've got going on in here. Well, for the Budgerigars, it's all about what's behind me then. It's the breeding caging and what's going on in there. So, and the main focus for February is trying to push forward and in particular getting some of the pairs that are in there out, and getting some pairs that I want in from the main flight into the breeding cages. We're going to free up in February 4 of the breeding cages, and those are the pairs in cage 1, cage 2, cage 4 and cage 5, and it will just leave me with the 2 new pairs that we've put down recently. pair 4 I've already split because they really weren't doing anything at all. The cage next to them in cage 5 I will be splitting very, very soon. Those of you that have seen the last episode will probably know that that bird, or certainly the Facebook page, will know that the chicken there has now fledged, and I have seen it start feeding itself. So that pair will be split in about a week's time, and the other 2 pairs in the top, so pair in cage 1 and cage 3, will be split once their chicks have come out of the box. And I'm happy that that one of the adults alone is able to bring those up. So it's really going to be about focusing on the new pairs that we're going to put down now we've finished with the initial pairings that we've made. So that's it really for the Budgerigars. We will have a look, as I say, at those new pairings in a future episode. So, you know, please do stay tuned if you want to see what we're going to put, swap the pairs out. And of course, we'll have a look at the youngsters that we've produced from in there. Before we go, I just wanted to say a big thank you to one of our subscribers, and so he goes by the name of Movie Maker Wannabe. You know, I really don't know if you've told me your name or not. If you have over the period that you've been watching, then I do apologise, and if you put it in the comments, I'll mention your proper name in the next episode. But anyway, he reminded me that he's been with the channel for about 7 years. So he first found the channel when he was looking at genetics, so my very early introduction to genetics. So 7 years with the channel. Thanks very much there, Movie Maker Wannabe. Thanks for staying with the channel for so long. Maybe some of you have been with me even longer than that, I don't know. Anyway, like I say, a big thank you to you, and a big thank you to all those who do take the time to subscribe and watch the videos anyway. Like I said at the beginning, if you're not yet a subscriber, do subscribe to the channel. All the new subscriptions help the channel to grow. But anyway, until the next video, as always, do stay safe and enjoy your birds.